Hello, how are you? I hope you're having a joy-filled day or night, wherever and whenever you're watching this. So I've been really working through the idea of attachment, and I wanted to take some time to share a few of the downloads and some of the insights that I have around attachment. And for many people right now there's always people struggling and having difficult times, but for many people, especially right now, people are feeling really unsettled and scared because we have this fear plague going on, and we have, lots of things to think about, whether it's politics or whether it's a virus. And so the invitation today is about what you are attaching to and how that's serving you or not serving you. And so I want to invite people to think about the things that they're holding on to, that they maybe don't want to let go of. And that might be expectations, it might be people, it might be things. But just to think about the things that you're not letting go of that perhaps are not serving you anymore. And maybe one of those things is even the idea of what you thought life should look like or what it's supposed to look like. And I think about that in the context of COVID and how travel has now changed, how my children going to school has changed, how we are living has changed, and it's not normal to me. And I had this vision of my children having a normal life like I had, and I'm seeing that that's not the same for them as it was for me. And recognizing that, well, wait a second, maybe their lives are not supposed to be the same as mine. What's normal for them will be whatever they experience and go through. And for me to let go of this idea of what I thought that they should be experiencing. And so, I think in coming to understanding that attachment is not serving us, these expectations of outcomes or whatever it may be, actually can rob us of so much. It robs us of being present. It robs us of joy because we create this suffering now because what we thought was supposed to happen is not happening. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's supposed to happen differently. And when you can start letting go of attachment, you become free and you find the innate joy and happiness within yourself. Because after all, happiness is innate within us. The problem is that we've attached it to people, things, and experiences. And when we do that, we do ourselves a great disservice, because that attachment is what creates the suffering when it doesn't show up or when it leaves us. And I'm not saying not to love things and celebrate experiences and find joy in those things. I'm just saying when we get expected to, or we begin to expect it to look like a certain way, then that's when we begin to suffer. And we tend to have this judgment about experiences and whether they're good or bad, because we usually say, okay, well, I want this experience to go this way, and depending on how it goes will determine whether it's good or bad. But we judge and we think, oh, that's bad because it was supposed to go this way, and we create this suffering and this disappointment, and it doesn't feel good. It's like, why are we doing that? Why are we putting ourselves through that? So I bring us into this thought, and there's a story I want to share with you to just support you in this. But it's a story about a farmer and a horse. And this farmer has this prize stallion, and one day the stallion goes missing. It's gone. Nobody can find it. It's long gone, and the neighbors come over and they say, we feel so bad for you. This is so awful. This is your bread and butter. How are you going to survive? And the farmer says, who knows what's good or bad? We'll have to wait and see. And the next day comes along, and the horse comes back with a herd of wild horses. And the neighbors come over and they say, rejoice, this is the best news ever. This is so good. And the farmer says, who knows what's good or bad? We'll have to wait and see. And the next day comes along. And the son of the farmer is out working on these wild horses. And he gets bucked off and he breaks a leg. And the neighbors come over and they say, oh my gosh, this is horrible news. This is the worst ever. And the farmer says, who knows what's good or bad? We'll have to wait and see. And the next day comes along and the armies come to town, and it's taking all the soldiers with it to go to war. Farmer's too old, he can't go. But the son's got a broken leg and he can't go. And of course the neighbors come over and they say, this is such great news. Thank goodness he broke his leg so he doesn't have to go to war. And the farmer responds with, who knows what's good or bad? We'll have to wait and see. So you can see that this story could go on forever and ever, right? Like the point is that we are so quick to decide whether something's good or bad. And the beauty is that we don't have the whole picture. Some of the worst things that I thought were the worst things ended up being the very best things in my life. A bad situation that I perceived to be bad turned out to be the best thing to happen. And so I invite you to think about those times. Think about the times when you thought it was really bad and it was actually really good. And just remember that as you move through the experiences of your days, when you move through the attachments that you have to people, to things, and to experiences. Because when you become aware of those attachments, you begin to move into this place where everything that shows up is divine and exactly as it should be. And when you get there, you're not sinking yourself into suffering or low vibration energy. You're keeping your energy high. And so if you can get yourself to that place, that's where the magic happens. And that's where you are so free and you find and start to feel and tap into that innate joy and wisdom that you have within you. Have the most blessed day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.